Today I'm just, as I get this set up, getting together. Oh my goodness. And I am just gonna break everything here. So we're gonna upgrade. Let me get this all situated. Holy cow, I didn't think this was gonna be so hard. Yeah, I know. Orientation is locked. There we go. So I just received. Oh my gosh. Okay. Ah, all right. Don't worry. I'll get this figured out sooner or later here. There we go, like that. And like that. There we go. Mm, all right. All right. There we go. I'm going to kind of come down here so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Because I have, hey, what's up, Keaton? Going through one of my board games. You just scrolling through YouTube and finding the most popular people, right? Yeah, so I actually had a board game company send me an update pack for this game. So you can see how large this thing is. But so I just did an unboxing video and then I figured I'd update it because if you see here, these are all cards for the Sting game. And there's more smaller ones and more smaller ones, a lot of large ones. So a lot going on here. All right. So I've kind of made my own uh, storage system here. Now these are like little pill boxes almost, but they make it really nice just having them out during gameplay. Makes everything super nice. And then I actually printed off little help tokens, 3D printed, meaning. And anyway, so I have all those in here, so I can have them for. I hate those little help tokens. So I'm actually gonna see if we can't make this so you guys can see more of the table here. There we go. And now you can. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's much better. So now you can really see what's going on here with this box. So I actually, as you can see here, we've got the big old rule book here. This is one thing that the update pack did not do, which I'll have to look into that actually, is they do not have the 1.2 version rule book. So, but they do have it online. I believe I'll have to ask them about that actually. So I want to make sure I play with the right rules, right? Not just have the updated cards here. But we've got some awesome painted miniatures there. I painted them last year. And then we've got all these save packs. So I saved these a while ago. Me and my friend played. My friend Eric, which he bailed on me on this game, but we played this game, so I have like all the save packs, which I'm gonna all redo or undo, I guess to say, when I do my playthrough for my channel here. So it's got a lot of. Not only does it have all the miniatures, it's got a lot of standees and stuff for this game. Um, Lots going on. We've got a lot of specialty dice going on. I actually love these dice. I like um, what do you want to call it? Not specialty dice, just like custom dice. There you go. We've got some of these things, which actually, so you're supposed to have these to like denote which one is which. But I actually got this from Baron at Meet Me at the Table. You can see here when I painted all of these, I actually painted the bases different colors. Wow, that's really reflective. But as you can see, I kind of painted all the bases different, so I don't ever have to use those tokens actually, which has been actually quite nice. Because I don't even have to worry about these. The only times I do have to worry about these, no, I don't even have to, because these have the different colors. These are for the standees here. But now I've got to, oh, whoops. The thing is here is I have to reorganize all of these cards here. And I've been waiting to undo our playthrough, but now that I have to update all the cards, I was like, you know what? This is a perfect time to do that. Right? Now, let me show you my favorite part about this game is this guy right here. Look at that. That looks like a textbook. Pretty much is a textbook. This is the game. As you can see, that's how far we made it. And that was probably, I don't know, 50, 60 hours of gameplay. And we were in the middle of chapter 4, I think, out of 5 chapters. Right? I'm pretty sure there was 5 chapters in the first act. And this is one of 3 acts. So this game is huge. Acts 2 and 3 are not out yet. But, and then I 3D printed these things. These things are turned out awesome. That's kind of, I don't know if that's backwards for you guys, but there's abilities. So these are all the ability tokens. Oh, there we go. And then you've got terrain. So these are all the terrain tokens. We've got more terrain tokens. So the accessibility, I love these. Here's all the effects, right? So this holds all the effects kind of perfectly. And then we have stash. So in this game, you can stash stuff in between scenarios. So this is a way you can save your stash, right? These are all 3D printed from stuff I found on Thingiverse. They have been so nice. But because they take up a little bit more space, so packing the box is a little bit harder. And then, oh, so in the game, you can summon an animate sword. So I 3D printed, and it's just that there's a standee. They don't have a printer for it, or they have a standee. They don't have a miniature for it. So I printed myself a little miniature that it's like flying. You can see the base. Anyways, so that's my little animate sword that I play with when I am able to summon that animate sword. And we've got stamina tokens here. So I have a kind of a mixture of like these 3D printed things, which are super nice because they kind of spell out, and these things because they're kind of rounded right there. So like pulling them out as you're playing through is super handy, and so I just have a hard time getting rid of those. And now the fun part is all of these. This is another thing. So I've got a lot of different mixture of organization in this game. So what I did is I actually printed these off here. So this is just you know thick paper and made into a little box. So all the common armor go into this box. So I've kind of organized all the cards that way because they had like zero organization for the cards. So I did that. And then I kept 2 loot boxes actually, because you're going to have an active loot box and a non-active loot box, meaning you're going at some points you're not gonna have the combat loot all the time. You've got some in during different playthroughs. So I have 2 separate one of those. So now we have to go through and I just have to make sure. I mean, everything on these new cards does say version 1.2, so I kind of know what's going on, but I have to make sure that I don't mess all this stuff up because I should look. I wonder if does it actually say how many cards are in this update pack? Where'd that little thing go? Right here. Let's see if this says um there's 162 large cards, 32 tarot sized cards, 413 mini American cards, 428 standard Euro cards. So that's 8. Yeah, there's over 1,000 new cards in this game, in this update pack. And yeah, I don't really want to mess that up and get it all mixed up. So we're going to go kind of slowly here. If I can find my knife, there it is. So we're going to go ahead and get my knife here and open this up. So, and I don't know how these are packaged either. If they are packaged perfectly within like their own sections, or if they kind of have their own, or if it's kind of all mixed up. So here, these are item upgrades you can upgrade. Basically, you attach these to your armor, your weapons, your relics, anything. Not really anything. There's like this says armor upgrade, so this can only attach to armor, right? But here is the item upgrades there. I do actually have 2 separate boxes for item upgrades because there's separate things. So I just kind of made pictures here. So this box has those 2 type of upgrades. This box has those 2 type of upgrades. So we're going to pull these out. And we need to start making a place for all these old cards. So this is the box that all the upgrades came in. So I am going to hopefully put all those in there. So if they're in there, they're out of my mind. I don't need to touch them ever again. And that's the kind of good and bad thing about this. So this entire game, all these cards, not all of them are new. A lot of them are going to be exactly the same. But they made it this way so you don't have to think about it really. Right? I just take all the cards out, put all the new cards in. I don't have to sit here and look through all 1,000 cards to see which ones are new, which ones I need to switch out, which ones I don't need to switch out. So it is kind of nice. So there you go. They fit right into there because there should be the same amount of cards. We put these ones in here. And there we have the first box upgraded. Now I need these so I know which ones I've upgraded, which ones I haven't yet. So I'm actually going to come over here off camera and place them right there. All right. So next up we've got, let's do all these mini cards first here. Like that. So next up we've got some of these disciplines here. So these actually changed a good amount, I think, between the 1.1 and 1.2 version. So we will have to be careful here. The way I organize these is I actually organize them by levels. So even though this box says martial, which is one of the disciplines, it's actually all the level ones of all of them. So I just need to make sure I separate these all within their certain level here. So these are level 2s. Okay. Here we go. This is going to be complicated. This is Madara. So if you have never heard of Madara, Madara is going to be a 1 to 4 player dungeon crawler D&D-esque type game. Whoops, there we go. There's Madara. And they just came out with a 1.2 version, and so I am just upgrading it to my version. I had 1.1 that I bought at a game convention about a year ago, and they just came out with 1.2. So I am now trying to upgrade it so I could do a playthrough on my channel at one point. Yes, it is a very, very small box. The thing is actually is the 1.2 version. So we've got this size box, and it's maybe 5 inches deep. The new box adds like an extra 3 or 4 inches, so it's actually like that deep. So it holds everything better because this one, it's one of those things where at the very first it has everything, but when you try to organize it, it just does not organize well. And uh, so they made the box deeper so it could fit everything a little bit better. And I wish I need like a top-down camera so you can see everything that's in here, because the way that you play on the dungeon crawler is all these tiles. This is just half of the tiles that you play on, that you lay out to make your dungeon that you're crawling around. And so that is kind of that idea there. So right now what I'm doing is each of these, what they call disciplines in this game, which is basically your abilities, they all have different levels from level 1 to level 4. And so I'm kind of sectioning these out so I could organize them, because I have them organized by levels in a certain box. So we got level 1, and that's one thing that's really cool about this game. Is so all of these disciplines is basically your character and how you upgrade your character and what you do with your character. Meaning, with this game, any one of your characters can be anything. It's not like, hey, you're the berserker, so you have this and this and this ability. You're the wizard, so you have this and this and this ability. Every character is going to have a little card here, and they're going to have just 2 or 3 abilities, and that is their character. Other than that, you could be and create your character any way you want, which is awesome. A good thing and a bad thing. I love it because you can do whatever you want. You can make a wizard type person along with some heavy hitting. But um, the downside is that means you have to create your characters. So sometimes between chapters can take a long time because you have to sit there and you have to go through, here's all the level one cards. So when your very first level one, you have to go through all of these to see what you even want to do. But they're gonna level two is gonna be based off of level one. So you have to look at what level two and three you want, so you know which one's level one you want. Like it can get very complex. I see those deck boxes come with the game. No, sadly, this game comes well. 1.2 version does come with some organization. 1.1, which I bought about a year and a half ago, comes with zero organization, and it was horrible. I was so surprised that this big of a game that had zero organization in it. And so, over here. So I actually printed all these off. I created them myself. I went online, found like a deck box creator, and made them myself. And so, sadly, it was not a good thing. But so this is just how I organize them. I organize all the disciplines by level because usually when you level up, you're going to get one of those levels. And so it's easier to have all the level ones when you know you only can buy a level one upgrade. Anyways, so we have that one completed. I'm keeping everything that I have over there because I'm upgrading. Basically, I'm taking all the cards, which are over 1,000 cards, and just switching them out. My own board games, one of the best parts. That is this stuff. These 3D printer. I bought a 3D printer a year ago solely for that purpose, just so I could organize. Because like being able to do this, like here's the stash. Here's one that just says terrain on it. Like Thingiverse is amazing for board game organization. So I agree that I like the being able to do your own thing with your own organization. But the problem is when you get the game, you've got you have to put it back sometime until you get done with figuring out what you want to do for that organization. Because when I got this game, I was actually deployed, and so I was living in a little hotel, not really a hotel. It was actually really nice because I ended up getting injured, and so there was a what they call a soldier recovery unit, and which I was just there to go to my medical appointments and stuff. Anyways, I ended up buying this game, but because I was not at home, I couldn't really do any of the organization stuff, which was very difficult. Um, but I could do these because these were easily printed, whatnot. All right, we've got another box done there. As you can see, we've got this many more to do. And that's just for these cards. Then there's hero cards and other stuff that we'll have to figure out here. So we'll do all of these. This will be the end of, what do you call these? The disciplines. But also doing this like, this one's already coming apart. I don't know. You can see the sun's shining a little bit much. But yeah, I bought this game. Well, I played it at PAX Unplugged, and I've watched a lot of these games before, of this game, I mean. And it was like, man, that looks like a game that I would really like. I'm gonna go get some super glue so I could glue this piece together. But I was like, that game looks awesome. But at that point, just the base game was 150 bucks, 200 bucks, something like that. And I was like, I just don't know if I can justify that for a game that I don't know if I'll love yet. Anyways, Succubus Publishing, which is who created this game here, they were there and they had a demo, and I played the first little demo thing. I was like, yep, I like this game. I want it, so I bought it then and there. And I think I bought it for 200 bucks, and now it's like 250, which you could actually get on Amazon now. You could actually buy the base game off Amazon, the 1.2 version. So that's actually kind of cool. But it's for 250 instead of what I got like a year and a half ago for 100 bucks, just because everything's going up in prices now. For those that think discipline cards, wouldn't it be easier to have a sheet of paper with everything instead of having to go through all the cards? So they do actually on BGG. Someone made an Excel sheet, and it's got two things on there actually. One, it has like all the disciplines on it, um, but then they also have a lot of created like, hey, these mixture of disciplines is really strong. Like, there's so much fandom stuff for this game, which is great because it can get so deep into this game because of the how you could create everything yourself. So it can be very overwhelming coming into it. I remember, so the first like three, maybe it's just like three scenarios. It tells you how to set up your character. It says this character is going to have this discipline. This character is going to have this discipline, right? It just kind of tells you how to make your character. But it's kind of like the tutorial. So after you get done with the tutorial, it's like, oh, and now you can create your own character. So after we got finished with that, me and my friend, we were playing two-player, but we were each controlling two characters, two full characters, and we probably spent almost 2 hours just trying to figure out what we wanted to do with our characters. And so, anyways, so that Excel sheet is very nice. You're like, hey, I want a fighter type person. I want a spell type person. I want a berserker type person. It has that set out so to make it easier if you would like. But like choosing spells in D&D, yes. So the first time I played D&D, I was a sorcerer. Yeah, that was not a good one to start out with because I had that. But he's like, okay, by next time, make sure you have your spells chosen out. And I'm like, going through. I'm like, I don't know. How in the world am I supposed to choose? Good thing and a bad thing, right? It's great because it's cool. You could do your own thing. You can do what you want. But when you don't know what you want, it could just be overwhelming. So we do have. So this is the problem I actually know too that I'm gonna have to do with this game is it came with all. So I just got the base game, but the update pack comes with all cards for any expansion pack and anything as well. And I don't have that stuff, meaning these boxes that I created are don't have I don't ha- are not big enough for everything here. So I'm gonna have to kind of go through and figure out how to do this and how to organize it. But right now, I'm just gonna kind of put everything together just so I know all my cards are here because I don't need to sit here and just think on camera. Right? You guys aren't here for that. Well, you're here to listen to me ramble, I guess. And just talk about this game because I think this game's so much fun. I was really actually quite bummed out when my friend kind of bailed on me because he liked the game, but it can be very swingy. Because I mean it's a dice based game. You do damage according to what you roll, and the way that it's set up, there are some times where like, they're called casicles. Every time they spawn in like three or fours, right? Because they're pretty weak individually, so there's multiple spawns. And sometimes if you roll badly, uh, one of the really weak casicles can actually almost take you out in one hit if you roll like the perfect roll for them. And same thing other way around, or they could do absolutely nothing to you, not even touch you. So I do understand that it can be pretty swingy that way, and that was one thing my friend had a hard time with, and so that you'll just have to take into consideration, I guess. Okay, so actually looking through this, they're actually packed separately. So these are initiative cards, but all of these cards I just looked through, I didn't even notice. These are all from other expansions. So I know I don't have those, so I'm just going to put those off to the side right now. And then this is all the initiative cards that are the base game. So that's actually kind of nice. Does it have a DM of sorts or nope? The Let me find the enemy cards. So there's no DM. It's fully cooperative, and each enemy is going to have a AI card. So, so you have here. This is an enemy here. I don't know if that's backwards for you guys. It's backwards for me, but I'm not sure if it's back for you guys. But so these are its passive abilities here. Then each of these little diamonds there, you start from top to bottom. Is Elena burrowed? So if she's burrowed, then you're going to do that. And then it says continue down. If she's not burrowed, you go to the next one. Is Elena burrowed and underneath an opponent? If that's true, then you'll do it. If that's not true, you go down to the next one. Is there an opponent within SOI or sphere influence, kind of like an area? And Elena is not burrowed. If that's true, then you do that. Right? So it's kind of like an AI system of, oh, it's not backwards? That's good to know. Thank you. So it's kind of like an AI system, like if this is true, then this. If this is true, then you do that. If this is true, then you do that. So that's kind of how the enemy works. Instead of having a DM, every enemy is just going to have a different AI card that does different things depending on where you are, what you're doing, and all that kind of fun stuff. And so I actually have really enjoyed that because all the enemies are very different. It's not just like, oh yeah, they're gonna be there and do that every time, no matter who it is, or they'll just attack a little differently. But they do very, very different things. And if I know how to open this box, there it is. So I actually forgot. I half sleeved this game. So I've got like the loot deck because you shuffle basically anything that you shuffle a lot. I ended up sleeving. So let's see here. We've got these going here, those going here, and that's and those going here. So I've got a lot of extra space here because now the new ones don't have sleeves. I'll go through and sleeve them later. I'm not gonna go through and sleeve 100 cards right now. But we do have the combat loot all figured out, and and the initiative cards here. We've got familiars, but these are familiars off into the other expansions, so I'm going to put those off to the side as well. Initiative cards are done there. Gonna go there. Whew, man. All right. Oh, we've got the other initiative cards. Now the deck for the initiative cards, because I've got initiative cards for the active ones and initiative cards. Oh, no, these are the hidden. These are the hidden ones. No, these are just the non-active initiative cards. Yeah. All right. So, but now we do have some hidden cards. So this game has hidden cards. So like it'll say, hey, if you do this, unveil hidden card number 234, whatever, and so you don't see what's coming up. Don't you think the players would then put how the enemies act into consideration? Definitely. So that is there's different ways to play. Is you have some players that are like, let's just go and do it however we feel like we need to do it. And then you have some that are like, well, let's take the next 20 minutes, plan out, look to see what they're going to do, look to see what you're going to do, look to see what I'm going to do. And you're going to take 20 to 30 minutes before you do anything because you want to plan out the whole thing. So, yes, that is definitely a thing. And it's different styles of play. And which that's actually one thing that brought me into board games because I love that aspect of like, oh, it almost turns into a puzzle, right? Like, okay, if I'm going to do that, they're going to do that, and if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to do that, because they do. Some of the enemies have some reactions, so it's like, well, I want to do that, but they're going to end up attacking me afterwards, or they're going to move 3 spaces after that, and so you have to be very cautious with what they're doing. But yes, you do know you can anticipate what they're doing, right? Because I know with D&D a lot, if you've never seen that monster, you have no idea what they're going to do, and therefore it brings a lot more of that unknown. Where this, there's definitely not near as much of the unknown in that sense, for sure. Um, but to each their own, I guess. I really enjoy it. There are some other games, other big board games like this that create a lot more of the unknown for the enemies. It just kind of depends on your style. But I've really enjoyed this game quite a bit. That swinginess is probably, like I was talking about before, probably is the hardest part about it. Because sometimes you feel like you're doing good, and then all of a sudden it just messes everything up because they ended up killing you with one hit, and you're like, whoa, like I wasn't even injured, and now I'm dead. And so that can be hard to deal with. We've got another pack that I'm pretty sure is all of the expansion cards and stuff, so I'm going to put those off to the side. And with this game, you also not only can you build your character like with your disciplines, right, which are like your abilities, you also build them. There's all different type of weapons. You got long swords, you got short swords, you got hand axe, you got medium shield, warhammer, morning star, a guitar, right? So you could also kind of put out what type of weapon they're using, which is can be very different. I like the puzzle aspect of it, but it can take you out of the role playing. Is there any? So there's very little. So the way that this kind of goes is there is role playing, kind of, not to the same aspect as D&D. Hey, what's up, Matt? Are you gonna watch Brew? Oh my gosh, I just Boards and Brews. How does he? What's his? Anyways, he's gonna play tonight. I'm gonna watch probably the end of it. I'm gonna hop on. I've got other stuff tonight, but anyway, so the role playing in this game comes in between scenarios. So when you're actually like going through dungeon crawling, there's not a whole lot of role play, but in between, woo, as I throw stuff on the floor, in between scenarios, you've got this book here, where this is like a whole story. And this is where the role playing aspect comes into play. Where it'll be like, it's going to give you options. I'm trying to find like a random one here. Um, so like this one, it says, mark the story flag, contract terminated on the adventure sheet. So if you read this, you're going to mark that on your sheet. And later on in the game, it's going to say, if you have this mark, then go here. If you don't have this mark, then go there. I'm trying to find. There's some that are like a decision. One of the very first things, if I remember right, maybe this is a little bit of a spoiler, so I'm sorry, but it was like, do you want to kill this person or do you want to let them live? Right. So you have these decisions to make that you have to agree as a party, and that's the aspect of role playing. But when you're actually dungeon crawling and attacking and fighting, there's not really actual role playing in the sense of D&D role playing. Um, yes, this. Have you ever played this? I know. Meet me at the table, Barrett. He's got some older playthroughs of this game, and this game is ginormous. I'm actually doing an update of it, and there's over 1,000 cards just in the upgrade pack. And well, I mean, it replaces everything, and so I'm trying to organize it all here. So here we have. So how do I have this? So I organized this myself, and I made these deck boxes things. And so I have to remember how I organized it. It's been a while since I've actually played this game. But don't worry about the spoilers. I'm sure I won't play this game. It won't come to my country. I'm sorry. Yeah, and even if it did, I mean, off Amazon it's $250, so maybe it would be free shipping. But this game is expensive to ship. That's for sure. Uh, but let's see here. So we've got mundane consumables. So they each loot has like levels. So like mundane, right? Kind of like Pokemon cards. You got common, uncommon, rare. That's the same thing here. You have like mundane, common, uncommon. Anyway, so I'm trying to figure out how I had. So there's some mundane consumables. So I'm gonna do all this down here to try to figure out what I did and what's here. So there's mundane cores, and I don't know. I wish I don't have the playmats, but the playmats just for a character is like this big. Cards are all over the place. It is a table hog. That is for sure. It's one of those things, almost kind of like Chronicles, where it's like, right, it's this table hog. You got stuff all over the table, and then the actual play area is like this big. Everything else is like your characters and everything else. So I got my kid. Yes, bud. Okay. Okay, perfect. You could come back downstairs. I might have to end this a little bit here soon. Not yet. They just might be really loud because they're gonna yell because they're coming back downstairs. Yes, bud. What is that? Is that a motorcycle? That's pretty cool. Is that ours or is that Grandpa's? Oh, okay. No free ship from imported games. You chose pizza? Okay. Hey, I'm on doing recording stuff, okay? So I just need to be a little quiet. Is that okay? Cool. Nope. And let's see here. Hey, I'm talking right here, bud. Okay. No free shipping from imported games here in Brazil, even if it would. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Not the shipping and then the taxes and then the price of the base game. This game's already expensive. How many hours of gameplay do you think this game has? Do you think it's comparable to Gloomhaven? Depend. Yes. So I would say it's comparable when you have everything involved. So here's um and this is Act One. There are three acts to this entire game. Act two and three are not out yet. So this is just Act One, and I made it through. Like that's too noisy, please. I made it through this far with probably oh, with the kind of gameplay and getting your character ready and all of that, well over 50 60 hours just in that part there. And then you got Act two and three after this, so it's pretty comparable, I would say. Yeah, Act one, right? It's pretty crazy, I think, of how much there actually is here. Let's see here. Let's kind of figure out because I don't know why I only have like 7 mundane consumables, but my box for mundane consumables is this. So this is obviously not replacing all of them, which I was pretty sure all cards are replaced. So I've got a few more things here that I'll kind of go through to see. Oh, here it goes. This no, that's I'm gonna have to unbox all of these or undo all these just to see what's actually here. And so one thing with this game too is you have to play with four characters, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. A lot of people are okay with it, but because of that, it when you're playing solo and videoing, it makes it really hard. So I probably won't play with all four. Video on how to make those differences. Ooh, that's actually not a bad idea. I'll have to try to remember. I actually did this quite a while ago. Oh, you okay, bud? Hold on, guys. My kid just fell. Come here, bud. Come here. You okay? Did you hit your eye? I'm sorry. I'm recording, so you just don't talk to me. You okay, bud? You're gonna go play with stuff. Go play with your motorcycle, okay? I love you. How's that for a little blank recording there? But yeah, I definitely should do that. I think that's a good idea to make a oh man, make a video of that because I feel like that would actually be very handy. I have kept them to put them up on the Discord or BGG or something. The problem with them, although, is mine were very. You have to go onto the website to do it. Oh, there we go. I found all the mundane consumables. Anyways, you have to go online, and it's harder. So let's say if you sleeved them, like these cards aren't sleeved. If they're sleeved, they have to be a different size. And so I would have just have to do a video of how to do it and not really put my actual ones online. Because a lot of mine, I have some of my cards sleeved and some of them not, just because stuff that you shuffle a lot, I put into sleeves. Stuff that you just sits on your board, I ended up not sleeving. So I have some of my boxes are measured to fit sleeves. Some of them are measured to not fit sleeves. But yeah, I I don't like deck boxes in general. Well, they're not my favorite, but for this game, for all the cards, I feel like they worked out really well for me, anyways. I usually use Ziplocs for like card games, like face cards. Yeah, I would. That's not too bad for a game that I paid $200 for. I ain't putting those in baggies. But I feel like that's pretty standard there, right? If you're gonna fork out $200 for a game, those cards are a little bit more valuable to you. All right. Um, these with these master games, I usually see as I go. That would be smart because then you're not doing everything in one go. Um, but yeah, I'm probably gonna reorganize this anyways. And I just figured I'd sit here and talk about the game as I went through here because I don't know. I like this game. I love the versatility of this game. Versatility, is that a word? Versatility, versatility. I don't know. Um, uh, but I really enjoyed this game. Let's see here. So right now, I'm just like putting everything out because I feel like these cards are kind of everywhere. And so I need to figure out what's here and what's where before I start. Let's see here. All accessories are one thing. Common relic, common weapon. But I think this game is definitely not for the faint-hearted. It also sleeve absolutely all cards. So there you go. Yeah, if they're sleeve. So quite honestly, I'm actually kind of newer to this board game world. Um, I started maybe 2.5 years ago. Chronicles of Junagor was actually my first game that I backed on Kickstarter. It was my first like big box game, and well, this is all. Sorry, as I'm trying to figure this stuff out. Um, anyways, when I first started saw sleeving, so when I was little, right, I was into Pokemon, I was into Yu-Gi-Oh, but um, when I sleeved cards, it was like, hey, this is my deck. It's got a colored back, right? I had like a red back matte, and that's what I sleeved my cards just for my deck. And then when I came to the board game world, and the sleeves were like just clear on both sides, and I'm like, that's stupid. Why do I want just a clear sleeve? Like, I want something that's got a different back that does something different for me. Like makes it nicer, makes it different. I just didn't understand it. Now I understand it, right? Like now I sleeve almost everything. Not necessarily everything. When it's got like this, where it's got 1,000 cards, I'm like, I'm only using 10% of those cards at a time, so I might not sleeve them all the time. Okay, but I've definitely gotten more into sleeves. I get you into board games and what, so I don't have to keep saying dude. My name's Colton. I don't say that much. I mean, I when I'm on Facebook, I comment everything on my own Facebook. I do have a Facebook channel for Board Game Officer, but I don't really comment on stuff using them. I usually comment on my own stuff. So if you see any comments on Facebook from Colton, Colton Broadhead, that's you'll see that's me. and um, uh, and yes, it was the pandemic because actually what got me into it was actually D&D. One of my friends was like, "Hey, we should play D&D." I'd never played D&D. Well, I had done a little bit of it, but not a whole lot. And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's try D&D." But there was only like two or three of us, and so when you only have like two or three people trying to play D&D, it's a little bit harder. And so we ended up not. We played for I don't know 6 months, almost a year, but it was inconsistent. It really wasn't a whole lot going on, and So then finally, mm, so finally, my friend actually started looking up like, well, what's a way we could play something like D&D, but you don't need a DM? And so then he actually found Dice Throne and Tiny Epic Dungeon. Those were like the very first like D&D esque, dungeon crawler type game that you don't need a DM. And then it just went all downhill from that. And so yeah, Matt Back is great for when you are also proxying some cards. Yes, for sure. Because then you can't actually see the back, and even though the card looks different, you can't tell. Definitely have done that with a lot of them. Spell Colton. Yep, that is actually correct. Colton. That is the only correct way to spell it, of course. All right. Have I opened up everything here with these large cards? I think I have. All right. So I have mundane. Oh yeah, that's right. These is like everything mundane. No. So my board game officer comes from. I'm an officer in the military, and I actually started my YouTube channel when I was deployed. And I was like, well, what should I name my channel? I was like, well, I'm deployed and I'm an officer in the military. So I was like, board game officer. I'm actually a captain, and I wanted to name my channel Board Game Captain or Captain Board Game or something like that. But I looked up and there's already a board game captain. It's board game captain with a K. He's a smaller channel, but I was like, ah. So I didn't name it Board Game Captain. I was like, well, I'm an officer, so we'll just go Board Game Officer. And I don't know, that's what it is. And that's why if you look closely at my logo, it's actually a guy saluting and the board games in it. And that's where that all comes from because I was started when I was deployed. Americans DM, less RPGs out there. Really? That actually that doesn't surprise me because there's been so much, but I've never tried those before. Let's see here. So we got mundane. So we got mundane everything here. This is what we're gonna do. Mundane, mundane, mundane. And are these mundane? Yes, these are mundane. Life is mundane. Oh man, see what? Here it is again. Not again. I don't know what I'm saying. But I am somehow supposed to fit all those cards into that box. Apparently, there are some cards in here that came in the expansions because at least that's my guess. Because I don't know what else. Let me make sure all these are mundane here. And all these like look familiar. I mean, maybe I have some non-mundane stuff. Because I have all those cards up there. Yes, these all should be base box ones. Because there's so many weapons in each level, I made the weapons separate and then everything else mundane. And now they fit like a glove. There are quite a few board game dungeon crawlers that have a free app that runs the DM. Yeah, actually, I haven't played it yet, but I have Descent Second Edition here. That it has this like one versus all, so it's like a DM type thing. Um, but then it also has an app that you can play solo, so it runs the DM basically for you. But I have not actually pulled it out to play it yet, so I can't say if it's good or not. But let's see here. We've got uncommon. Let's see what's next. We got mundane, then we got common. We'll do this. We were just got a box over here that's going to be all cards that I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it now because it's going to be 1,000 cards that I'm not going to use. But at the same time, it's like, it's 1,000 cards. I don't want to just throw them away. This second edition got me back in the hobby. Oh, really? Really? Is it still pretty good? Because I bought it because it looks really interesting. It looks fun. I've played the new Descent Legends of the Dark. I played that one a little bit. And I was like, I like that. I want to try some of the old ones because I heard good stuff about the second edition as well. And so, what's your common, 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 common? That is all the commons. All right, and so yeah, maybe I'll have to try that one soon then. Even if it sits here. Yeah, but if you want more of the role playing side of things, it's hard to do. And yes, that is very true. There's role playing aspects. They call it a role playing board game when it just has aspects of choices. Basically, it's like, oh, if there's some choice to go in different directions, then it's role playing. But is it really role playing? Not really. And not like compared to D&D. Um, uh, Even if it's game, you could RP. Usually, people just focus on playing the game itself. That is true. That's one thing that actually. So I did a playthrough of Chronicles of Dunagor the other day, but I ended up the video did not work out at all, so I have to redo it. But anyways, there's a lot of choices you can make in that game, and so I try to make choices like, hey, this is the cleric. Like there's one where there's a dead priest on the wall, right? And he's like this old, and there's loot that you could take from him or anything. But I was a cleric, and one of the option was pray for his soul. And I was like, I'm a cleric, so I'm gonna pray for his soul. And then my other character is an assassin. And I'm like, well, an assassin's not gonna pray, that's for sure. The assassin's gonna try to take that loot. So I had right. So you could kind of play like your character in that sense with some of the decisions. But yeah, still not near the same as D&D. Rodney Smith has a ah. So Rodney Smith, his whole journey surprises me. Not surprising me, but I think it's so cool because right when he started his channel, what like 15 years ago, he probably was looked at as some person who is just being a nerd on YouTube, right? Like because board games wasn't near as a thing, YouTube wasn't near of a thing, and so he was probably just this nerd on YouTube, and now he's like a celebrity, right? Like I think that is so cool because yes, I love watching his stuff. I'll have to look at that for Descent. Does he talk about the solo version, or does he just talk about like the normal overall one versus all type of gameplay? Um, but yes, I he just does such a good job. Straightforward. The order because I've done some playthroughs and that's what I struggle with. Like, okay, order wise, how do I make this consistently understandable? Because if you explain one thing, it's different than when you're like sitting at a table talking to how telling people how to play. When you're just talking to a camera, it's like, okay, I've got to organize this in the right way so people understand it correctly because people can't ask me questions in the middle. So I have to make sure it organized. Anyways, Rodney Smith somehow does it very, very well. It's very succinct and everything. I've really enjoyed it. Just learn to play one versus many and playthroughs with his son. Oh, cool. He does some playthroughs. I do like watching that as well, just to kind of get a feel for the game too. Teachable games is it not? Yes, it is. And I have not yet learned that art. I am trying. I am trying, but I cannot say that I have fully learned it. That is for sure. All right, let's see here. Like this, I don't know. This is another thing that, with a game like this, I recommend it full heartedly. Like, I really, really, really like this game. But when a game is $250, that's the hard part to suggest to people. Right? Like, can I really say that yes, you should go spend $250? Do I regret spending $200? Not at all. But um, how's the lore in this game? The lore is amazing. If you like anime type stuff, right? So there's going to be some like cheesy stuff and whatnot, just unique weapons. But it is. Oh, I need to look it up. They have. Um, oh my gosh! I just the app that tells you the story that reads the story to you. Foreteller. They have a foreteller for it, so you could just listen to it, so you don't have to read it. And I think just in the reading, like I think it's 25, 30, somewhere between 25 and 30 hours long of just reading, just for the lore. So, which is a good thing and a bad thing once again, because sometimes you'll like, okay, in between scenarios, and you'll sit and read for like a half hour, or you'll sit and listen for like a half hour worth of stuff, worth of story. So if you're not like really into the story, it kind of puts it down a little bit. But if you love the story, it's great because there's a lot of depth. Each character really gets a personality and everything. Instead of just being like a generic, like, oh, the heroes do this, the heroes do that. It's very succinct, like Zeke does this and does this, and because he did this, he's not in your next playthrough because he went over to that town. So now when you go through your next playthrough or next scenario, he is not an option to pick because he's not with you anymore. Right. And so there's a lot of good lore like that, but it's definitely a lot of reading. Yes. How are you excited to play with your kids once they get older? Yeah, my oldest right now is 7. And so he's starting like Dice Throne. He loves Dice Throne. And so I've started him, with those. We don't play with the cards because he's still having a hard time reading. So we don't play with the cards, but he loves Dice Throne. And so I'm starting him young, but yeah, once he gets older and can like understand this stuff, and I don't have to find a friend to play with him to play this game, that's gonna be sweet. I'm not into anime, and the art turned me off. I'm sure this game is awesome to play through. Yeah, so I have a love-hate relationship with anime art because I love the style in the sense of like the looks and stuff, but I don't love the nakedness of it, right? Both male and female characters, there's just not a lot of clothes that I don't love. Um, Definitely not my favorite part about the game. But when you've got, let me see, but like art like this, it's like some helmet with like lightning horns. You've got this awesome shield, right? So like that stuff, I enjoy. I really like that part of it. Oh snap! What did I just? Where did these come from? Oh, these are mundane unique. Oh, these are just. Wait, what? Did I already? Uh-oh! I did something bad, guys. I did something bad. I put. Okay, okay. I found my mistake. I found my mistake. These are those. These are those. Why do we have more of those though? Make sure. Oh, these are just need to be just the weapons. Is that right? No, this should be everything. Sorry, guys. I got. Do, 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 do. Mundane, unique, 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 unique weapon armor. Yeah, this has got everything in there too. Let's see. So that's the old cards. So we put those in there. I don't know why my unique cards don't fit in my box. They do. They're just really, really tight. But if I can get them to fit, then we're good to go. Yep, got them to fit. We're good to go at least for now. That's just a little tight. um, Not much into anime. I'm hoping you come here to Brazil. Yeah, I didn't grow up liking anime. The most anime show that I watched was like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's not really anime. I don't care about the clothes. I just don't like the cartooniness. Yeah, yeah, I could definitely understand that. Um, uh, if I had, let me, because there's some that are like okay, where you have weird proportions with the cartooniness. I could definitely understand that. Um, let's see here. What uncommon weapons right there? All right, we're almost there. We're almost there. I've got like 5 more, but I've got all the cards organized, so it should be a quicker 5 more. Because there's so much to this game, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Depends on the art style. There's enemy art that doesn't look cartoonish at all. Don't know if it's the case. No, this is definitely more cartoony. I would definitely agree with that. Which I kind of enjoy, and so I think it's mostly the weapons. I think the weapons is what I have a lot of fun with, because I don't know, weapons are fun. Weapons are cool. The game doesn't look too anime to me, but I haven't seen any characters. Yeah, yeah, the characters are going to be. Here's some. So you've got Remy there. You have Nightingale. Like that right there is such an anime uh, posture, or the way they're standing. Then you got Rook, and then you have Zeke. These are your like starting characters here. Then you have Zeke. So it's pretty anime stylish, I think. Um, let's see, monster loot right there. But I mean, like this game is actually it's got monster loot. So if you kill a certain monster, you have an ability that you might get. Um, Where's something that makes sense? Like there's a Wataloa, so if you kill a Wataloa, you might be able to get a Wataloa oil, which is going to be a relic which that you could attach and use. You could cut off the tail of one of the Gavadans, is what it's called, right, and use that as a weapon. Like I love that aspect of this game where there's just more to play along with that in that sense. Uh, oh yeah, definitely anime. Yeah. Let me grab. Yep, I've got some rare weapons here. So like you got that thing. I don't know why. I think that's awesome. So I'm using the front camera of my phone, so it's not going to be as clear. You got the dagger of ruination. I don't know. Maybe if I stand like here, if it'll focus. Um, and you got an axe. Like I just like these big. Uh, what do you want to call it? Exaggerated weapons, I guess. You got a joy record. What in the world? Like that bow has like 50 arrows on it, right? So that it's very exaggerated. Um, oh, it's that's like a roulette, not a roulette, a cylinder bow or crossbow. What are some other? You've got even like a little necklace that can be used as a weapon. This is more like a spell weapon, so it gives it that type. Yeah, like like this one, like I don't know. I just love all this type of art. Like this, like especially those swords. Like that is just awesome. Joy Record does it a lot of funny. There is some humor like within the lore. There's a little bit of humor, like they play off of each other. I wouldn't say in general that it's like a funny esque game. Like I don't know if you ever played Valor and Villainy. That one has a lot of like funny stuff to the lore where it kind of does stuff. So I wouldn't say there's no humor, but I wouldn't say it's a main theme of it. So these are rare weapons. We'll put the rare weapons there. Put these here. I don't know, but going through this has definitely made me excited to try it out again. Because I was playing through it, made it through three-fourths of it. And then my friend's like, yeah, I'm done with it. And I was like, oh, we're three-fourths done with it. Which, as I said, was like 50, 60 hours. So we had played quite a bit. But I really wanted to finish it. And so I definitely probably will not going to do a full campaign playthrough because it takes a lot to play the game. But when you're videoing and playing the game, takes it way longer to do. So it's very cumbersome to make videos, especially of a game this size and this complex. But I definitely want to do my best to do as much as I can because I do want to show this game off because it's a lot of fun. And I like to do my playthrough styles. I like to base it off of kind of like Meet Me at the Table, One Stop Co-op Shop, Rolling Solo, right? Those channels where it's all like up in them. Because you've got playthroughs like with Dice Throne and Board Game Co. and stuff where they're playing, but you can't see what they're doing. You just have to go with what they're saying because you can't see the cards, you can't read anything. And I really like the style where you're up close, you could read the card with them on the screen. And I really like that aspect. So that's how I've tried to tailor my videos. But also with that, that means it's really time consuming because I have to make sure you can see everything that I'm looking at. So I move the camera around, I zoom it in, I come over here, I move it around, I have to think about what I'm doing. Anyways, it's cumbersome, but I like it. It's still fun. It's just more to it. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna start over from zero on my channel and go from there. And then I might just keep playing solo just on my own, just not on camera. Like I was saying, it just adds a lot of complicate or complexity to it when you're recording as well. Or I've been thinking about doing some live stuff because if I could do it live, it would make it so much easier. Because we were watching like Board and Brews or Brews and Board Games. There you go, that's his name. And Drew, I think his name is. And I feel like like just being able to set up the camera and then play would be so much easier. You don't get that closeness that you do with, like I was saying. But well, I'm glad you are not a cop. Thank you for your. I'm glad that I met you. I subscribe. Hey, thanks, Matt. You're, are you glad I'm not a cop so I don't come and be the rule cop? Which is actually kind of funny because that is definitely my style. I will admit to that. I am definitely one that likes to make sure we're playing by the rules and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not right. That's not right. I will admit that is me, which I know a lot of people don't like because, yeah, I'll admit it's annoying sometimes, but that's kind of what I do. Have you made up some house rules? So, one rule with this game specifically, at least, is I don't know if it's a house rule. It's a old rule that I play by because I like it better, which is actually with the uh, what do you want to call them? You can summon like a helper, and I don't like the new rule, the 1.2 rule. Obviously, when I do the playthrough, I want to do everything right, so I will play with the 1.2 rules just so I don't confuse people. But I definitely did have a time with that. Same thing with Chronicles of Drunagor, that darkness. If you remember, Matt, we were talking, even Drew was talking about it um, with Drew and board games, is that darkness breaking up all the time. I really do not like that new rule. It takes out the entire funness of the polyomino, polyomino, that big word, pieces. Like, who cares how it is if it's just going to break up into three 80% of the time? Then it's not as cool. So usually when I play that on my own, I use the 1.0 rule that if it fits on the board, it'll say. The only time it breaks down if it cannot fit on the board. Um, so yeah, I'm if I'm playing with my friends and stuff, I'm all about house rules. I'm all about we're there to have fun. So one thing that actually me and my friend will do, not a lot, but if we have nights like Drew did the other night where you're missing like 8 times, you miss 4 times in a row when the probability of you missing is really only like 20%, yet somehow you rolled 4 misses. We're like, mulligan. Like, that was your fourth time missing in a row. Go ahead and roll again, right? Because we're there to have fun. Like, I want to have fun. If we're not having fun, then who cares, right? Like, there's no board game cop, right? So I'm all about house rules. There's nothing wrong with being rules police, but I'm not a fan of police officers these days. Corruption and ego, the darkness is weird in Chronicles. That's funny that you put cops and then darkness in the same sentence. Oh, yes, not the same sentence, the same comment. Right? Yeah, there's man, everything out there today is put nicely at crap show. Right? This we live in a different world, that is for sure. And I think everyone just doesn't even know what to do anymore because no one can agree, no one can do everything. So you know what we do? We play board games, and then still no one agrees, and we have all that stuff. Go on. Uh, but I think that's another thing that has really made me like board games. It's kind of that aspect of like, let me get out of this world and let me just dive deep into this world and forget about, it's just one of my outlets and stuff, which is why I actually started this YouTube channel because I wanted to play more and I like playing on camera. I like showing camera. It makes me feel like I'm not totally playing solo, even though I really am playing solo, but it makes me feel less alone, right? Oh, hey, what's up, Steve? Good evening, good sir. Can't stay since I'm out with my family, but wanted to pop in and say hi. What's up, Steve? Um, uh, yeah, I feel like Steve and Matt, like I know you guys from other life stuff, so it's kind of cool to, yeah, our community is the best out there for real though. Like I said, like Steve's just popping in to say hi. Like I love that. That's so awesome. But we don't know anything about each other, but board games bring us together, and we have fun with it, and it's a great community. I think that's one of the biggest things that has drawn me to while being a YouTuber or being part of that YouTube content creator stuff is being able to engage more with the community in a different way. I'm part of a lot of Facebook groups, and so I comment a lot on those too. But just like having that extraness has been really nice. I really enjoy it. Well, I hope you have fun with your um, family, Steve, if you're still here. Hope you have fun with them. I'm gonna have to go here soon. Wow, it's already been 70 minutes. Holy snap! I'm gonna go out to dinner with my brother. He's in town, so me and my brother are gonna go out here probably soon. So I'll have to go soon. But we're almost done. We just got. Let's see. These are the enemies here. These are um. These are the base enemies. Yes, these are the base enemies. We'll put those over there. Now let's find. We've got the conduits, espers. Espers. That's what they're called. But you summon the espers. Um. So Gen Con. I'm like 80% yes, I'm gonna go to Gen Con. I I almost went last year, and then last second I was like, no, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. It was like battling like technically I probably can't afford it, but it's hard. Anyways, so because I backed out last year, I really really want to go this year. But it's not a for sure thing. Yeah, I haven't bought tickets or a plane ticket at all yet. And I'm gonna go to do super type. Like, I'm great. Hey, think what is your our Ariel Zau 150? Nice. Thank you so much for the subscribe and for chatting with me. Um, I don't know how fun it is to actually just hear me sit here and ramble, but I very greatly appreciate you guys, and so I'm not just sitting here rambling to myself. Oh man, let's see here. Type signal type Loa. Oh, that's new. Oh man, I don't even know how I large enemy cards. Large. Oh, yep, these are the alternates. Okay, so as long as I don't know how they split up the alternates now. I'm gonna have to figure that out. And then let's go ahead and put the adventures and the things here. So these are deck boxes that I did. I'm 100% going again this year. I want to meet you in person. Yeah, dude, I would love to meet you. I think that was probably the best part about Gen Con or those things is like you see these people on YouTube and you become friends, right? You're like, dude, like you feel like you know them, but you've never met in your life, right? So I'll definitely do or let you know about whether or not I'd go because I really, 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 really want to go. And I was worrying about like money and stuff, and should I go? Because I'm actually living in my basement of my in-laws right now, so it's not like I have a whole lot of money. But um, my wife actually just bought some plane tickets to go see her sister that lives in DC. And I'm like, well, if she's traveling, I want to travel. There's a meetup once I get more info. Oh yeah, yeah, sweet. Yeah, but is that when you say there's a meetup? Is that like with a certain group, like that you guys do, or what? What is that meetup about in that sense? Because I've only been to I went to PAX Unplugged, which is actually where I got this game, and then I went there's a local one. I'm here in Utah, and they had a Salt Con. They actually had one again last weekend, but I went to one a couple months ago. Those are the only two I've ever been to. Wednesday night before Beer Garden. Okay, th- so the night before starts, is that right? Because isn't it Thursday through Sunday? I mean, I'll probably fly in Wednesday night anyways, so I could be there. But yeah, for sure, I am okay. That actually makes like so now maybe it's up to like 90% that I'll go, right? Because the last time I went to PAX U, I'm like I didn't know anyone. I went by myself. I didn't even go with a friend. And so don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun. But if I could go to actually like hang out with people, I would love that. All right, see you later, Matt. I'm actually probably just gonna go too, so I could go and hang out with my brother. You guys all have a good one, and I will see you later.